I'm recording this video to help you find out whether you want to become a physician or not. That time when I was 17, all I cared about was playing Red Hot Chili Peppers and Jimi Hendrix, right? So I wanted to start my rock band. I couldn't find band members here in my town, so starting medicine in the capital of Georgia was my way to move from this town and find band members there, which I successfully did, and we had a band for 2 years. I slowly fell in love with medicine and decided to do my residency in the United States. And I actually enjoyed studying it. I actually loved all the microbiology, biochemistry, immunology, and all of that. This was like very interesting subjects. And I enjoyed this subject so much that I actually had a USMLE preparation center called GuruSMLE where I tutored students for USMLE, right? Then I started medical residency in my country in neurology that lasted for 2 years here in Tbilisi, Georgia, because it took some time to do all the shadowings and finish all the steps, including step 3, which, by the way, had to clear them with a really, really high score in order to be considered for psychiatry and neurology, because those fields are very competitive in terms of scores, right? Especially when you're applying on a J1 visa, right? So I actually did my 2-year home country residency, then applied both in psychiatry and neurology in the United States, and I end up matching in neurology. I could not match psychiatry in the first round, right? So lo and behold, after completion of my internship, I reapplied in psychiatry and matched it for the second time. Changed the city from New Orleans to St. Louis, went to St. Louis, started my psychiatry internship, and I realized that wasn't for me either. So it took lots of guts, took lots of self-exploration to know that this is not something that I want to do for next 10 years. Even though the money is great, even though the prestige that doctors have is great, right? But it wasn't for me. Then what I do is I quit medical training in psychiatry and moved to my third world country. What I also did was to take my neurology board exam and become a licensed neurologist, because I thought that little bits of credentialing would help to run my center better, which actually didn't end up the case, because building trust is a avenue of its own, which is another discussion. But so the last part, I want to talk about how you figure out whether you want to become a physician or not. Let's try to think about this like a scientist, right? What would a scientist do? A scientist would formulate a hypothesis, right? So let's say, like, I like medicine, so it makes sense to become a physician. Okay, that's a hypothesis, right? So you want to test the hypothesis. So the first thing that you want to test is whether you like medicine or not, right? The way a good scientist, or way I would approach this, having all the pain and experience that I have right now, I would just find emails of physicians. It doesn't really matter where you are. You can be in India, you can be in Bangladesh, you can be in France, you can be in the United States, you can be anywhere in the world. Just find the emails or numbers, or just meet the physicians in person and just find out if you can shadow them for a day or a week, and just figure out yourself in the direct human-to-human interaction whether you like it or not. This will save you so much time, money, and energy, you guys, because so many of us assume that we want to be physicians because we saw a movie, or we saw a Kurzgesagt video on how immune system works or how our body works, and we thought that, oh, it would be great for me to be a physician. No, guys, this is a huge mistake, because there is unfortunately no bridge between the real world of medicine and the little bubble that is university, where you are taught this subject, which is actually very fascinating. And you also might have fascinating professors which are very charismatic, and they will make you to love the subject. I'm also faulty at this, because I think lots of my students fell in love with the subject that I taught, even though I now think that there is very little link between the subjects that I taught and the actual practice of medicine. So what you want to figure out is whether you like the actual practice, day-to-day practice of medicine, because that is what you end up doing rest of your life. For myself, even though I loved microbiology and all these basic subjects, I despised the actual practice of medicine. I didn't like the work environment. I didn't like the practice. I didn't like how boring, repetitive, routine, and uncreative it was. I also did not believe in what I was doing. I didn't like prescribed medications to people who didn't need them. I didn't like making diagnoses because I had to. I also didn't believe in reductive frame of modern medicine. Even though the money is good, even though the prestige is good, it was not the path for me. So the way to go about this is to figure it out for yourself. Go ahead, shadow clinicians, really understand in the trenches whether you enjoy medicine or not. And be frank about it, be honest about it. You have to deceive yourself, just be honest. Generally speaking, when you're making the decision, you do not have to sell anything to yourself. If you're selling it at the level of your mind and thoughts and just like formulating these crazy arguments with yourself, that's already a fishy sign. That's already a sign that you don't like it. When something is good, we intuitively feel good about it. They sometimes call it like whole body yes, because you feel at the level of your gut that you want to do it. And when you're like in the business of convincing yourself, doing a hard sell on yourself, this is the good because money is good, this is good, this is good, that is good, that's already a very shaky ground. You'll probably quit. That was what I was doing with myself, right? Because I was convincing myself that, because Sanko's fallacy and all this like hard work that I put, I had to continue. Keep stepping forward because of the previous steps. That's not the right way to go. That's almost guaranteed to fail. What you instead want to do is evaluate this decision intrinsically. That is, medicine is something that you want to practice for a long time, right? Also, don't fool yourself that, I want to do a medical business. I want to have my own clinic. That doesn't really need a medical license. You can study business. You can start small. You can add value on Facebook group. You can like be a coach. Coaching doesn't need a certificate. And then once you're a coach, once you have enough money, you can actually start your business and hire physicians who will do the medicine and clinic part for you. So entrepreneurship, you can circumvent all the 8 years of debt and medical training with being smart, making strategic moves. I hope you guys found this video useful. Like it, share it with your friends, drop a comment if anything was unclear. I'm happy to clarify it, and consider subscribing to my channel. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.